All right. Hi, guys. Welcome to week 2. We are officially now in class. We are officially moving forward with the material of class. I wanted to do a touch point. I most likely will be posting a video every Monday for you guys just to check in, give you a face, kind of remind you of where we're going for the week and set you up for success. So with that, again, I want to bring our attention to the homepage, and let me move this out of the way. Again, when you come into Canvas, just to reiterate and to remind you guys, I know that it's tempting, right? You're going to see all your classes, you're going to see the different assignments as they populate. Again, remember, you have an entire course available with all of the material, the modules, videos, announcements, the directions for everything. That's beyond just clicking on the assignment and going to connect to complete those activities. So with that being said, let's just start with practicing good behavior for success. Always click on the courses, right? And then find your section. As I stated, I am teaching 2 very similar sections of environmental science online. So I'm going to post the same video for you guys each week. So just clicking on 071, it just happens to be the first one at the top. Come into the home page. Again, here is a touch point for the welcome video if you've missed it. The ability to download a copy of the syllabus, learning objectives of the course, material, how to find me for office hours. Again, some of you are already setting up office hours. Fantastic. That's wonderful. I'm receiving those. And actually, I'm even seeing when you guys are, maybe you found the answer to your questions, and so you've canceled setting up those office hours with me. Completely fine. That is your time to do with it what you choose, right? That'd be the same thing if you're coming to see me in office on campus and you decided, oh, I actually don't need to go today, or I can go see her next week. However it works for you. So you guys this past weekend had one activity or 2 really major activities. The first, of course, to move through the start here, the course overview, and the Canvas orientation quiz. Now, the nice part was, I'm sure you've noticed, I set you up for success for that. You could keep taking it until you scored the highest capability for that. So again, I want to make sure you know this information. I want to make sure that you are aware of where to find things for this. So the Canvas orientation was exactly designed for that for you. Another place, just the same thing that we just mentioned, where you can schedule office hours with me. Again, overview of how to write a lab report. This is just background information for when you get to those assignments. I am aware that some of you have never written a lab report before. Perfectly fine. I am trying to set you up for success. Remember, this is just background information on how to write a lab report. These are not the directions for the lab report. When you get to the assignment that requires you to write a lab report, you'll see the directions built in for you to click on and actually know what you need to complete for the lab. You're not just making up information. The directions are there for you. Again, this is just a module for, I've never done this before. How do I approach making sure that I've got all the right material? Additionally, I've got for you built in for the research project, what you guys are supposed to be doing for that. When we get closer to that, again, I will weekly remind you guys of what you should be preparing for, but guarantee your success. Open these directions up, take a look at them and see what is expected. How can I get a jump start on this, right? Because as you get more and more and more into the semester, right, your assignments amongst all of your classes are really going to start to stack up on top of studying and preparing for those exams. So best case scenario, click on the research project guidelines, look them over, right? And maybe get some ideas of what you want to approach inside of that research project. Okay, just quickly kind of going back home to the syllabus, looking at the general overview. Oops, I'm sorry. Of where we're going. Right, so week 1, right, you really just had to do the introductory discussion board. I am about to grade those today and tomorrow to give you guys an assignment grade for that. And again, as long as you completed it, as long as you answered some of those questions, posted your video for me, you should be guaranteed those points. Really, it was just a nice, easy introduction into the course. Now we're in week 2, right? We're really starting to move towards getting those assignments in and really kind of getting the steam going into the engine and really starting to rev up for assignments for the semester. So last week you were supposed to get an introduction into really what the term environment is, kind of what environmental science is, understanding things like the scientific method and how we utilize that to approach science. And then really now you're going to complete a SmartBook assignment for that. So you should have read through that chapter and you'll complete your SmartBook assignment for that. And you're also going to start to read chapter 2 this week and complete that assignment. You'll also notice that you're going to have your first lab exercise due. And again, notice the dates. I've staggered them. All SmartBook assignments will be due on Fridays. All lab assignments will be due on Saturdays. And again, research project and/or exam stuff will be due on Sundays. So please keep tabs. Again, this is another reference point outside of just the homepage where you see your assignments populate. Come back in. Maybe you want to print this out. Keep it close to you as you sit down to do this material. So you say, okay, I'm keeping on track of where I'm supposed to be in this class. If you have any questions about this, please make sure to come back. Look at the syllabus, guys. All of the information of where we're going in this class, when things are due, what you're supposed to study for the exams, right? Everything is right here for you. Additionally, you'll notice, right, I have your first exam date, and therefore everything that is before this exam date is what you are liable to know. So chapters 1 through 4 are going to be your first exam. Your second exam, right, will be chapters 5 through 8. Now, I might pull on some information, but you won't be directly engaging with this material, right? But maybe you'll see something about if I was to study something in chapter 5 and I wanted to apply something like the scientific method to it, right? I would ask you questions about chapter 5 with the foundation of material you've kind of already put into play from the previous couple of chapters. So it's not a cumulative exam, but the information in this class is cumulative, right? You're taking the whole subject and you're learning about it. So again, how do I set myself up for success, Dr. Varga? Well, remember inside of our modules, right? I have for you information for exams, what to study. So if I click back on this, I've got success that you need to absolutely read, that your learning outcomes can be utilized as a study guide. I'm going to show you that in just a second. And most importantly, that you can recharge your SmartBook assignments, these reading assignments. Once you complete them and get a grade for them, you can recharge them to go back through and look at those questions as you're kind of gearing up and getting ready for the exam itself. So make sure you review this video. It shows you how to recharge those and how to move through that material again. But again, biggest foundation is you have to read the information. Move through the book. It's got everything there for you. Chapters are very small, maybe 8 to 10 pages at most, with big pictures and graphs and things like that. It's not challenging or overly cumbersome. And then moving through again some of these learning outcomes as you collect information to gear you up for success of the exam. So the last thing I really kind of want to touch upon, right? You moved through module 1. But just to kind of reiterate things here, I have the PDF for you. So maybe you want to open up the PDF on your laptop and you want to kind of add in material as you're moving through, as you're reading. But the learning outcomes, sorry, they're a little smushed because it's in view mode inside of Canvas right now. You're going to want to use these as your guideposts. If you can move through these learning objectives, right, that are at the beginning of the chapter, and you can answer these questions with some details around it, right? You are setting yourself up for success. This is everything in the chapter that you would need to know for chapter 1. Another way I like to tell students is as you're moving through the material and you're being presented information, right? Each slide is giving you some basic understanding of knowledge. No, if I wanted to prepare for the exam, answer the learning questions, recharge maybe my SmartBook assignments, reading the chapter, looking at the PowerPoints, the last thing I would tell you is once you've collected all that information, you've read the chapter and you've done the SmartBook, if you're still like, oh, and now I got to get ready to study for the exam, go back through and look through each of the chapter materials, go slide by slide, and think of if you can create kind of your own question of the material of that slide, right? So if I am looking at the different aspects that go into environmental science, right? Maybe I can think of some true false questions from here, right? Or maybe I can say, okay, how does this relate to the scientific study of environmental science? What are some things that go around it? So maybe I ask you things like maybe true false ecology is something that we need to add in as background information when we study environmental science. True, right? We can see that. We can understand that it is necessary from this slide to answer something about this. Really, the holistic picture here is there are many different subjects that we're pulling to answer environmental science, right? And so it's just, okay, that's my take-home message. Environmental science pulls from lots of different disciplines, right? And then maybe I'm just giving you a different, aspect here. Now I'm coming down to a completely different slide, and I'm looking at this slide in particular. Okay, I've got some graphs, I've got some general information. So again, of the following numbers, which is the predicted population of the world by 2050? A may be 4 billion people, right? B may be 50 million people. C may be 10 billion people. D may be, 100 billion people, right? And the answer would be 10 billion, right? Because we're saying between 8 and 10. Now, 9 is also an answer that I could have given to you. But do you see what I'm kind of getting you to go through the mindset, look at the material, and then see if you can craft something out of this that you think you would be tested on, right? Now, again, those SmartBook assignments are exactly the same thing. They're reiterating those same concepts for you as you move through, and you have to answer the questions with confidence. Do I really know that material? Do I not really know that material, right? And that's then from there, the computer system is going to know, like, okay, Dr. Varga kind of knows these things, but doesn't really know these things. You should practice these things that you're not really great at, but Dr. Varga, you know these things really, really well. So again, that is what those SmartBook assignments are there for. It's to gauge how well you understand that material. If you have any questions about it, if you're still struggling to get registered or anything like that, again, go back to the welcome video or go back to modules. And again, I've got some information that's here about how to get access to those things, when to sign up for those things, and how to prepare. So with that then, guys, I wanted to just touch base. You're going to start to see your grades populated for your discussion boards. I'm excited to look through them and meet all of you. But again, I will be touching base with you every Monday, if not by Wednesday, to just give you sort of updates and highlights and overviews and where we should be going for the week. So Chapter 1 SmartBook, Chapter 2 SmartBook due by Friday, but that's okay because you've already moved through Chapter 1, right? So Chapter 1 and 2, we need to make sure we're registered, and we have a lab assignment that is also going to be completed through McGraw-Hill. So we really need to make sure we've got that resource of the online platform either purchased or, again, going back to the module of the McGraw-Hill information. Now we're signing up for that 14-day window of the free trial if we still don't have the ability to purchase or our financial aid hasn't hit. Remember, you cannot only use the 14-day trial over and over and over and over again, because I need your email address that's tied to your Canvas account to link your grades. If you start populating through many different places, that's not the answer. You don't get to print those out and bring those to me as like, oh, well, here's, so my first 14-day trial, I completed chapters 1 through 6, right? And then my second, I completed 1 through 5 through or 7 through 10, right? That's not how this works. You have to have the full platform to be able to complete labs, to be able to take exams, and to be able to complete the SmartBook assignments. So any concerns or issues with those, come and see me, schedule something on Calendly, and let's get you ready to go for success. All right, that's it. I just wanted to touch base. Let me know if you guys have any questions or concerns. Otherwise, keep up the great work. I see most of you have responded to the discussion boards. Fantastic. Stay on top of the material as best as you can. And again, any questions, come and see me. All right, guys, have a great week of success. I'll see you next week.